All right, you're good.
Okay. Hey, everyone. I'm Natalie, for those of you who don't know me. My twin sister, Nicole, she's got the headphones on over there. I'll let her introduce herself and kind of tell you her story, but she decided to hop on here as a guest today to help us out and show us and kind of tell us how she has grown her business through social media, specifically Instagram. So she's going to let us know how she's built her following up to like 11,000 followers in a really short amount of time, and how she uses Instagram to run her business. So Nicole, if you want to just get started, introduce yourself and tell your background, and then we'll get started.
Perfect. So everyone can hear me good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I started my business in end of 2012, my photography business. And I think that was like honestly when Instagram was kind of like starting, back when it was like Instagram, like you just take a photo and you post it. There's like no editing, like nothing else. It was exactly what it was intended to be, Instagram. And so it's a photography business, and I recently moved to Los Angeles a year ago. But up until then, I was in Detroit doing weddings, fashion, lifestyle, kids, like everything in between. And I was doing other kinds of advertising aside from Instagram for a while. But since I moved to LA, it's just the market here on Instagram is just insane. And I think when I moved here a year ago, I can't remember. I think I was at 3,000 or 4,000 followers, and I'm at 11.5 now. And Instagram is really crazy because it's all about engagement. So, and I teach one-on-one mentorships about this for small business owners and other photographers. But the more engaged you are, the more engaged other people will be with whatever it is you're doing. And you are your brand. So whatever it is you're selling, whatever it is you're trying to do, you are your brand, and you're the only person who can represent it. So the best way to do that is to be yourself, and what's going to set yourself aside from the next person doing what you're doing is being you. And I always use this example when I teach workshops, but like if someone is going to hire 2 photographers, or a bride is looking at 2 photographers and she loves both of their work equally, she's going to pick the person whose personality she likes better, because that's just what makes sense. So, I mean, and I'm sure, I don't know if any of you are married or if you can relate to that, but you want to work with people who you feel like you can connect with and have something in common with. When someone comes to your Instagram and they see something about you that they like, they automatically are, it like creates a trust. It creates like you have this instant like connection, and they already like you better than the next person. So I think it's really important, especially with what you guys are all doing with health and fitness, is to just be yourself, because so many people are out there doing that. So it's so important to stay true to you and to be vulnerable, because it's really hard for people to be vulnerable these days. And when you give someone when you want to give like someone a reason to come to your page. So anyone can post like a fitness picture or a picture of a smoothie or a picture of food or whatever it is, but use an engaging caption that's going to give someone a reason to come to your page, because there's so many people doing the same thing that you want to give someone a reason. You want to educate them on, on what inspired you, like about fitness and health, and keep every post engaging, ask people questions. And sometimes it's super scary because you're like, no one cares. Honestly, no one cares, or no one's going to respond, no one's going to comment. But it's better than doing nothing. Like at least you tried, or at least you put it out there and were vulnerable, because that's what people really gravitate towards these days, is vulnerability. So I think for me, that is what helped my Instagram, because especially in LA, like the competition is crazy. There's so many photographers. But I think what draws people to my page is my captions, because I'm very engaging and I'm very real, and I talk about things that I love. And a lot of times people will email me or DM me and say, "Oh, I saw in your post like you love dogs. Me and my husband have 3 dogs. Like we'd get along great." Or, "You're Italian. My family's Italian. Like we'd really get along." So just something to make people feel like they can connect with you is like super, super important. Does that make sense?
Nicole, will you talk about how like you use hashtags, and like if you search hashtags, or I guess like how you engage with people, and like how you bring people to your page?
So It's really important. Like hashtags are so annoying. Like I literally hate them, but they're so important in bringing people to your page. For example, I shot a wedding in Jamaica and I used a hashtag like Jamaica wedding or something, and another couple found me through that hashtag and I booked another wedding through it. So had I not taken the time to just post, post a stupid hashtag, I wouldn't have booked that wedding. So it's so important because people are actually using those. I search things using them, and I know it can get like if you hashtag health, like so many people use that hashtag, but you never know. Like it's worth it if one person, if it's going to bring one person to your page. So hashtags are super important to put, like just put them in the comments, and you can do like I know Natalie does it now, like the dots. I don't know if you guys are following where you can't really see all the hashtags. Like in the comments, they're more like hidden, so it's less like cluttered looking. Um, and then just have a nice picture. Like pictures are really what attracts someone's eye too. So you want to have an Instagram that is like aesthetically pleasing because you want to have that like wow factor when people come to your page. So not only are your photos great, but then they look at your caption and your caption's great and you're using hashtags and you're doing all the proper things to get people engaged and active on your Instagram. Did that answer your question, Natalie?
Yeah, do you like specifically like to draw people to your page? Like are you constantly searching hashtags or do you have someone helping you? Like I don't know if I thought you had an assistant. Like is someone like searching hashtags and are you engaging in other people to draw them to your page? Or how are you getting people to your page as far as like them not just finding you, you actually like reaching out and like looking for other people as well?
Well, yeah, I had an intern, but she wasn't doing anything like that. I kind of just, I use the hashtags and sometimes I'll click them, but also you can go to accounts that are similar to yours. And like, I'll go to another photographer's page who I love and I know their work is maybe similar. So people who are following them would probably like my account as well. So then I'll go to their account and go to their followers and just like spam like follow all their like to a certain extent because that's a lot. But follow people that you know would like your account. So if you're searching hashtag health or fitness or whatever, go to that hashtag and you can start following people that you think would be interested in your account, and that's what's going to get them to your page. So it's very time consuming and it's very tedious and annoying, but it'll bring people because every person you follow is typically going to follow you back, and then you can just like if you want unfollow them. I do it like once a week or something. So yeah, just using like searching the hashtags that you use, like actually go to that hashtag and find people whose accounts might be similar or people that you think might like your account. Does that make sense?
Yeah, how many people like on average are you following like 20 to 30 people a day? Are you like where are your numbers at as far as like you went from I mean in like 2 weeks you've upped your followers by over like 2,000. So you
Um,
something that's kind of drawing people in.
well, I think my situation is just a little different. I'm not following that many people at all anymore just because that kind of hit a certain point. Once you hit a certain number, you're kind of like your followers are engaged and then a lot of people are liking your photos. So then that's showing up on people's explore page. So then that kind of like once you hit a point, it kind of helps itself. But when you're starting off, it's important. I would say like 10 to 20 followers a day. But my numbers have grown so much for my job because I'm working with people who have like millions of followers. And if they're posting about me, their followers are coming to my page. So I think that's what, for me personally, is what's helping my page grow so fast is working with people who have large amounts of following. But if when I was starting out, that's what I was doing, probably like 10 to 20 follow that many people a day and just constantly be searching people who are into what you're into because you want to like build a community around like people who have similar interests in what you're doing.
Cool, that answers the question. Now as far as like your obviously you're a photographer, so your editing skills are a little bit different than all of ours, but as far as like planning out your posts and like are there specific apps that you use to like help you like look at your page before you actually post it and like different ways that you edit to actually like make it more appealing to the eye?
Yeah. So I use Snug. It's SNUG. It's like an app. I'll pull it up and show you guys. I think Natalie has it too. It looks like that. Snook. And what I like, it will basically pull up your feed, and you can like insert the next photo. So you can like take from your camera roll and view what the next photo will look like in your feed. And that's how I keep mine like aesthetically pleasing, because I'm a psycho. And it's just, again, like you want that wow factor. Like you want something to be like, to catch someone's eye when they come to your page. And it's, especially if you're not a photographer and you don't care about that kind of stuff, it's like super annoying and whatever if you just want to post to post. But it really makes a difference when people come to your account. It just makes it looks that much better. It like takes it to the next level, which you like, you want it. If you want to go to the next level, you have to do what it takes to get there. And that's just like this generation, people are looking for like amazing Instagrams that are aesthetically pleasing. So I think like Snug really helps me. I use for my iPhone photos that I take, I use this app called Visco. It's VSCO. It looks like this. Hold on. It looks like that. And it's just like a more like professional way to edit on an iPhone, I guess. So I use that, and then like it took me a while to get my Instagram to where it is like aesthetic, like the look of it and the colors and all that. But once you kind of figure out what you like, you'll start to see like a pattern and what looks good and what you like, and then you can just use that preset or that filter on everything you post, and your page will start getting like aesthetically pleasing. My favorite word. Does that make sense? Does anyone have questions?
Mm-hmm. Are there any other things like when you do those one-on-one workshops with people, like what are like the main topics that most people need help with as far as their page? Because like some people on this call like have a good following and their pages, they've been working on them for a little while, but then we have like newer coaches that are just starting fresh with their Instagram, maybe like 150 to 200 followers, and like I feel like it's harder to get people into those pages if you're not being, if you're not engaging enough. So think back to maybe like when you first started your business and like what it took for you to just, I know you said it took time, but just to get out there and do it and like get that following. So like people starting off in photography, when you do your workshops, like what are like the top 3 tips that you give them?
Well, photography is like different, because for them, I would tell them to just go out and practice and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and do work for free, like work with people, because the more you're tagged and stuff, the more that's going to draw people to your page. So if you're doing free stuff, like I shoot 5-6 times a week now, paid. But before I was doing that non-paid, but I'm constantly tagged. Like I'm tagged in 3 to 12 photos a day on Instagram. That's me not even having to do anything. Like that's work I already have done, and that many people are tagging me in photos a day, and that's bringing traffic from each of those accounts to my page. So I think for photography, it's I guess easier in a sense, because I have an outlet where I can have other accounts draw traffic to my page, where I've done my job, I did the photos, and now they're kind of doing work for me, like free marketing in a sense. So I think for what you guys are doing, just constantly being really active on Instagram and following other accounts. And you could even like message other people who are doing what you're doing and DM them and say like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'd love to do like exchange shout outs like in DMs, like have like see if they'd be interested in doing like a shout out on their Insta story about you. Like that could be kind of cool. I know some photographers do that for each other, where someone would DM me and be like, hey, can I get like a shout out on your Insta story? And I was like, sure. I don't give a crap. I guess it just depends like who you're DMing. If they have like millions of followers and they won't see your message, like, but it doesn't even have to be that many. Like if you go to an account that you like and it's engaging and you see all their followers are engaged and they're doing the same thing you're doing and they're into health and fitness and all that, then send them a message. You never know, like they might give you a shout out on their story, because I think it's important. Like the more you get your name out there, I think it's going to benefit you, because again, for me, like I have other people tagging me and stuff all day long. I don't have to do anything, but photography is a little different. So you might have to work a little harder if you want other people to like shout you out and stuff like that to draw traffic to your page. Because I always say the more engaged you are, the more engaged people coming to your page will be. So like I spend so much time on it, like so much time on Instagram. If I didn't go on my phone for a week, I'd probably lose 100 followers. but I'm constantly on my Instagram, constantly on my page, constantly exploring, constantly posting, hashtagging. So yeah, just keep engaged, and that's what's going to keep other people engaged. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. What are your insights on like business pages versus not business pages? And don't think like just think like in general, as far as like obviously you can see the insights from that, but do you feel that you will you reach more people because it's a business page? Think back like when you were starting out before people were tagging you. Did you switch to a business account right away, or did you use like a personal account?
Well, I had my personal account, and like I think like maybe 2 days after you could do business accounts, I switched over. And I think it's really cool because it gives people the option to email you if they want. And I know you said the insights are obvious, but I mean, that's really cool because you're able to see traffic on your page, which is like the main reason I think you would want to do that. I don't know if the algorithm is like different for business versus personal accounts. So I would definitely, if you're trying to run a business, I would definitely switch to a business account because it's just beneficial to see how many people your page reaches a week and what your like, is it women coming to your page, is it men coming to your page, how many people are clicking whatever link you have, like that. Those are just like obvious like good points to be in a business page versus a non-business page.
And then
even if you have 100 followers, like I don't think the amount of followers matters in a business account. Like you can have 100 and switch to business, it's still going to be more beneficial.
And someone asked a question, do you utilize Facebook at all, or do those go hand in hand for you as far as like Instagram and Facebook?
I personally don't use Facebook as much anymore because I moved from Michigan to California. So I noticed most of my Facebook, I guess friends are in Michigan. So I don't use it as much because I'm not trying to book Michigan jobs. When I was in Michigan, I was using it. I think Instagram is definitely bigger than Facebook, but I think that's also another free source of advertising. So I think if you have a lot of friends on Facebook, I used to use Facebook 24/7 in Michigan. It booked me so many jobs when I was there because those are like your family and friends. Like Instagram's a lot of like random strangers. I feel like Facebook is more like, I used to post all the time, like, hey, if you know of anyone like looking for a wedding photographer, share this link for me. I'd really appreciate it. Like share it on your page. And that's just like getting more people seeing it. So if you have Facebook, I think Facebook is a great thing for you guys to use because Facebook is more connected to family, and family's always like going to share your stuff over like a stranger. So if you're constantly having friends and family share stuff for you on Facebook, that's automatically drawing people to your page. So I think Facebook would be really beneficial for what you guys are doing.
Have you ever done any type of like giveaways on your page to grow your following or anything? Like, do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, actually, I did one giveaway, and it was around Christmas time, and I was so nervous because I'd never done one before, so I was like, this is so stupid, like no one cares. But it ended up being like huge. Like I had like over 500 comments, like, and I think giveaways are really cool because people love free shit. So like anytime there's an opportunity to have something for free, people jump on it. So I think if you guys could put something together for like a giveaway, that would be a really good idea. Because I think that people love it. Anytime people feel like they can get a discount or something for free, they're more on board than they were before. So that's definitely like a good strategy.
Did you use your story for your giveaway, or did you do a post about it?
I did both. So I did a post about it, and then I get like way more, well, my ratio, like I get a ton of like thousands of views on my stories. So that draws like more people will view your story than I think like your Instagram posts. I think stories are huge in showing who you are and in getting people to your page, because anytime I make an Instagram post, I'll then go on my story and say new post on blah, 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 like kind of describing what it is in like a little blurb. And then my post will automatically start getting more likes because people are seeing my story more than they are my post, especially because the algorithm is so messed up. So yeah, I would definitely be posting on both. Like whenever you make a post on Instagram, put it on your story. and that'll draw more people to your page as well. For sure. Good question.
Does anyone else have questions for her? If you guys want to look at her page, what's your Instagram name, Nicole?
My name?
Yeah, is it just at Nicole Balsamo photo?
Yeah. I think, yeah, it's photo.
I've been saying your name wrong this whole time.
Oh, everyone says it that way. I don't fix it anymore.
Balsamo, is that what you've been saying?
Yeah.
I don't fix it.
If you guys look at her page, like you can tell that like all of her photos have like a glow, like beachy, like almost like sunset type of look in there. And so when she throws a photo and that maybe isn't like that, the next photo will somehow like connect in with the other photo. So like that app Snug that she was saying, I recently started using that like probably like 2 months ago. And that's when I started to see like my page actually looking like a cool page that someone wants to go to. So think about it like as like your own stuff too. Like when you're searching random accounts on Instagram, like maybe like a really cool fitness account, you're drawn in by what you see on the Instagram page. So if it doesn't look pretty and like you look at it and the first 3 pictures, you're like, nope, never mind, and click out. That's what people are going to think when they come to your page. If they like click on it and it looks like boring and ugly, they're not going to even like bother to look at anything else.
Yeah, and that's that wow factor that you want to get. Like you want someone to like go to your page and be like, whoa, wait a second, I wasn't expecting that. Like her photos are pretty cool. Let me see what she talks about. Let me see who she's about. Then they'll go to your story. So that's why like sometimes it's so exhausting, but like I try to post stories every day. Like I swear I never have to, like when I talk to my family, I'm like, don't you want to know about my life? Like they're like, we don't need to ask you because you post everything on your Instagram. I'm like, perfect, great. See you at Christmas. So yeah, I think it's like so important to show who you are in your stories because that's where someone can really get like a feel for your personality is when you're just being yourself. And it's so like that it's being vulnerable, right? Like talking in a camera like to yourself essentially. But it's like learning to ride a bike. Like the more you do it, the more you get used to it and the more you become good at it. So just like being repetitive and keep doing it and you'll eventually like get used to it. And it's super frustrating at first because I'm like, ew, I sound like an idiot. Bye. Like I'm deleting this. But the more vulnerable you are, the more people respond. It's really interesting. So and post about yourself. Because if you think about it, like when I go to another photographer's account, like I'll go like this, like I'll go on their page and then I'm looking for photos of them. I'm like, who are they? Like, who's behind the account? Like, this is this person's account. Why don't I see anything about them? So you want to make sure you post pictures of yourself and talk about things you like. Give people like a chance to fall in love with your personality. Because that's why like I would buy for someone because I like them. Even if I don't love the product, I'm like, oh, I really like this person, so I'm gonna help them out.
How many times like a day are you posting? Are you posting more than once on your page? Are you posting like 2 to 3 times? Or like do you look at it like by the week?
I try to post once a day. And if I'm on vacation, I post more because when I'm on vacation, people are way more engaged with what I'm doing. Like when I'm in a tropical place or like in Europe, like especially when people are like following you and they know exactly what you're doing. Like, okay, Nicole's going to Paris. Like I know she's gonna have store. Like I want to know like what she's doing. So like I'm gonna have to be posting more and more and more, and it's less annoying when you're on a vacation to post more. So I don't know. Sometimes I usually will post 1 to 2 times a day when I'm traveling, and then once a day otherwise. And then sometimes I like to give myself like Sunday or Saturdays. I feel like there's horrible engagement because everyone's like doing stuff on Saturdays. Or Friday and Saturday nights, people are typically out. So those are nights like I try not to post. If I post on a Friday or Saturday, it's in the morning. And then Sundays, I try to not just because it's too much. 6 days a week is enough Instagram for me. It's a full-time job. And that's the hard part when you already have, like for me, like I work from home and Instagram is basically part of my job. But when you have another job, like it's exhausting. Like Instagram is seriously exhausting. And but it's totally worth it. Like it's a lot of like your time investment, but if you utilize it the right way, like you'll see such a difference in your business.
And something else that she also does, like, there's never a time where like she doesn't have like longer, like less than like 7 or 8 like Instagram stories on there. Like sometimes I'll just like wake up and click on her stuff and like see what she did yesterday, and like people like, but I'm sure I'm not the only person that does that, like just because I'm her sister. I'm sure like a lot of her followers are probably like, oh, I wonder what Nicole's doing, or like, I wonder what Lindsay's doing. Like yesterday she was doing some really cool stuff. So I feel like once people start like really seeing your stories and like starting to engage with them, and like the more that they can see, I think your story kind of lets them see like the raw you, because like on your actual post, like it's glorified, it's filtered, it's like made
Totally.
perfect. But like on the story, they can see that like you're real. For example, like doing your workout, or like when you actually like make your shake, or like when you're walking your dog, or stuff that like relates to the stuff you post about on your page, but also like makes you seem like a real person. Because like if someone probably went to Nicole's page and like saw how beautiful all the pictures were and everything is on there, they'd be like, is she even like a real person? But then they like see her like doing giveaways, and like see her on, you know, without makeup on, and like talking about like funny stuff and like doing cool things. So I think like that's how people get to know you. And me personally, like I don't do that very well right now as far as like my story goes. So I know like stories are probably huge, because more people are watching my story than are actually probably seeing my posts.
Yeah, I mean, now you can see how many people view your stories
My story?
versus
Yeah.
the ratio of people that like your photo. Like you'll notice way more people will view your story than like your photos. There's a lot of people out there who just like to view and not like to like, and I like to call those people out. Fun.
What do you mean?
Like if I'm getting 3,000 views a story and 1,000 likes a photo, I'm like, who are these other 2,000 people creeping on my Instagram and not engaging?
Right. So that probably goes like what Carolyn, how you always say, like invite people that are watching your story, because they're watching you and they're just too afraid to actually like engage in something.
Yeah. So if you post something that someone's interested in, like you never know if it's going to draw them to your page, if they see it from your story. Maybe they're not liking your stuff, but they're watching what you're doing. And one day maybe they'll come to your page.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone have any questions?
I know you said that with photography, it's a lot different as far as like the business goes, but do you direct message people at all or no?
Yeah. So I message people all the time. I always say, like, it doesn't matter how successful you become, like, never wait for work to come to you. Go out and get it, because it is such like a competitive industry, photography. So, I mean, some of my biggest jobs I've gotten, if I see someone, for example, Becca Tilley, I shoot with her all the time, but my first time I shot with her, I went to her Instagram and I knew I was moving to LA. I was like, I'd love to work with her. She fits my brand. And so I went to her Instagram. I saw her like business email address for her like publicist, and I emailed her. I put together a whole mood board and was like, hey, I have this holiday mood board that like I really want to shoot. I think that could be perfect for it. Sent it over. They loved it. Shot with her. Now we're friends. Now we shoot all the time. So like, had I not stepped outside my comfort zone and asked if someone wanted to work with me, then I wouldn't have probably booked that job, because not that she wouldn't be interested in my work, but because there's so many photographers, she didn't know I existed. So I'm constantly DMing people like, hey, love your Instagram. Like, if you're in town, I'd love to shoot. Anytime someone from out of LA that I follow, it's like an influencer I love, and they are coming into town, I'll email them and message them and say, sometimes they don't see the DM. Be like, hey, they're coming into town. I'd love to shoot. If you're available, like, let me know. Or I'd love to grab coffee. Like, I love everything you're about from your Instagram and your Instagram stories. Like, let's grab coffee. Sometimes people don't respond, and sometimes they say yes, but what do you have to lose, honestly? Like, either they don't respond or they say yes or no. So if there's an account that you love, like someone you've been following their fitness journey, I would send them a message and be like, hey, I love everything you're about. I'm trying to do the same thing, and say a little bit about yourself and say like, I'd love to grab coffee. Like, if you're ever in town, people are a lot nicer than you might think. That's what I've noticed. I mean, my roommate, she's a model and she used to dance and she does like humanitarian photography as well. And she's like her and I both are like very into our faith and we do a lot of like posts about it. And she gets DMs from girls all the time, like, you're such an inspiration. Like, I'd love to meet for coffee. Like, we go on coffee meetings with girls like literally randomly 2 to 3 times a week, just like girls who are trying to do what we're doing and just like want to get knowledge and insight. And yeah, we do that all the time. So if you're interested in an account, like, go send them a DM or an email and just say, I really love what you're about. Like, you're very inspiring to me. I'd love to grab coffee. Or even just if you have a specific question, if they can't grab coffee, they'll probably be like, was there anything like specific you wanted to know or anything like that? Like, you'd be surprised at how people would respond.
Yeah, that's like big for us. Like, I mean, in reality, we have to put ourselves out there in order to see results in this business. So most of the time, people aren't coming to us because they don't necessarily know what we have to offer. So, I mean, we're starting new conversations with people every single day. And it's just being able to step out of your comfort zone and say, like, I'm just going to send this message. And I just had a call with Lindsay and we were just talking about, like, as soon as you send that message to someone, like, they may say no, they may say yes, they may ignore you, but what you just did was like offer them something, so now they know what you're doing. So like if you're just like posting things and you're not giving them something to come to or letting them know you can provide value, like you're just doing yourself a disservice. So the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to ignore you, or they're going to maybe even go look at your page and maybe start following you. So the more, like Nicole said, that you engage and put yourself out there, the more likely, I guess, the better the chances that someone is actually going to want to get to know more about you. And then from there, once they can understand what you're about and what you're for, that may be when they want to, join your team or like join a challenge. And that's when they'll start to trust you.
Yeah. And at the very least, you piqued their interest. So maybe they're not interested now, but a month from now, they will remember that message and maybe they're in a place where like they want to get into that, and then they'll go back to the message and then they'll go to your page. So it's really a win-win.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy too, because like I wasn't utilizing Instagram very well until like March. I decided, like, I think I started conversations with like over 160 people last month on Instagram. And it's actually hard for me to keep track of them right now because there's like so many accounts that are similar. But not all of them even like resulted in like an invite or resulted in anything other than like, oh, I loved your page, super inspiring. Like, you have a lot of what I love, like health and fitness, puppies. It looks like you love to travel. Like, I'm excited to watch your journey on your next vacation or whatever it may be. And like, I've realized since I've started doing that, probably like 25% of the people liking my photos right now are those people that I've been engaging with all month. So they're the ones that are commenting on my photos now, and they're brand new people. They're all strangers, but I feel like I'm getting to know them just through like following their journey and like showing appreciation for what they're doing too. Because even if they don't want to join your team, like they probably want to do something if they're posting on social media, like their fitness journey, or, they're trying to inspire someone. So if they can like know that you feel inspired by their page, like that makes people feel really good. Like at first when I used to reach out to people, I was scared and I was like, oh, they're going to think I'm weird. Like, why would someone want to reach out to someone about something so random? But like people work really hard at their Instagrams, like Nicole was saying. So like when you comment and say your photos are like amazing and like your life looks awesome, that's what they're trying to put out there. So like that's a huge compliment to them. So like doing that shouldn't be that scary because like they probably want to hear that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be putting stuff out there. Maybe they don't want to join your team or join a challenge group right now, but they do appreciate the compliments. Like, you probably feel really good when people come to your page and say, oh, like, this is really cool. Like, what are you doing? So it goes both ways. And something else I told Lindsay today is, like, the fear is mutual when you reach out to people. Like, people are just as afraid to reach out to you as you are to them. So if you keep that in mind, like, people are still watching your journey even if they're not reaching out to you. So they may be someone that's like sitting there like waiting for the day that someone who's inspiring them reaches out and like gives them a chance at something. So you can't really write everything off, and like not reaching out is like doing yourself and that person a disservice because you have something really great to offer. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah, and the more you're posting, like the more engaged you are, the more you're popping up on people's Instagram, and the more they're not going to get you out of their head. So like, again, even if in the moment they're not looking for what you're offering, if you're constantly popping up on their Instagram, when they're looking for what you have to offer, you're going to be the first person that comes to their mind because you're constantly in their mind every day when they are not interested. So when they are, they're going to come to you. And also, like, use each other and comment on, like, I have a few friends who we have like a rule of thumb, like when one of us posts a photo, you have to comment because it shows up in other people's Explore page, like so-and-so commented on so-and-so's photo. So if you guys, like, there's 14 or 15 of you, 16, anytime each of you post something, comment on each other's photo because that also draws other types of engagement. I forget what they're called. I used to be in a few groups on Instagram where we would, if someone posted something, you go and comment on it. And it was just like a group of people to create engagement, which is good.
Does anyone else have questions or anything? No. Nicole, do you have anything else that you want to go over?
Not that I can think of, unless someone had a question. I think that covered a lot of the topic of Instagram. I'm trying to read these chats.
No. I think like the moral of the story is like in order to see results on your Instagram, you have to engage with other people's stuff. So like just sitting back and posting but not like engaging in anything probably isn't moving your business very far forward. So like
no, if you're just posting, it's irrelevant. Like if you just post and get off Instagram and don't go on until you post again, you might as well have not posted, honestly.
And I would assume, I'm not sure, Nicole, you might know this. Do you engage in people's stories, like people that you follow? Like, do you think that has anything to do with drawing people to your page? Like, let's say you watch a story and you see like something that looks good and you're like, oh my God, that looks amazing. Like, do you have the recipe? Do you think that kind of engagement has anything to do with any of the algorithms or anything like that?
I don't think so. I think posting in your story is really important, but I don't think like if I DM someone like, oh my God, what is that recipe, which I do all the time, other people can't see that I DM'd someone, so I don't think that would make a difference. But I think posting stuff like that, like especially healthy recipes, people love that crap. So definitely be posting that on your Insta stories because that'll create like questions that are relative.
I think I've noticed, oh, sorry, I thought you were done. I think I've noticed that people see the messages that you send them when you reply to something in their story more often than they see it when you just DM them because they get a thing that says like someone replied to your story or someone, I don't know, it just kind of like stands out more, I think, than like, oh, you have a message in your box that you don't know about.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I am on somebody's page, if I'm going to message them, sometimes I'll do it through their story. And I think that they see it more often when you do it that way than if you just kind of do it regular.
Yeah. I think the chances of it being seen are a little greater if you're commenting on a story. So even if someone has like a smoothie post and you comment and be like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing, I need to try that. Like, do you have the recipe? And then after they respond, be like, also, like, I love your page. Like, you know, I've been doing X, Y, and Z. Like, do you have any tips? Or if you're in town or if they're in the same town, let's grab coffee. Again, it's putting yourself out there and it can't hurt to try.
Mm-hmm. And on that too, like, it's funny that you said that, Carolyn, because I like message a ton of people and you can go back and see if they've like seen your stuff. And a lot of people don't. And so like, I only know this because someone messaged me who doesn't follow me. And I just happened to be on my phone and it popped up and said like, you have a message request. So if like you're messaging people and they don't follow you, chances are, unless they like know a lot about Instagram, that request is somewhere that they don't even know because it doesn't show up in that corner with that little like red notification. So something I've been going back and doing is like people that I reached out to, just like liking their page or saying, you know, that they're inspiring. If I go back and look, like, let's say 2 weeks later and they haven't even looked at anything, or let's say a week later, I start commenting on their photos. So like I'll comment on their like most recent photo and say like, oh, this is so awesome, like super inspiring or whatever it may be. And then I always say, by the way, I sent you a message. It might be lost somewhere in your message requests. Looking forward to hearing back. So like, I've done that multiple times this week or within the last week. I don't even know what day it is, but and people will say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even see it in there." So like, don't let that stuff like make it seem like no one's interested and people aren't like interested in you. It's just like some people legitimately don't know that those messages are there, and that's me as well. Like if I didn't see that pop up, I wouldn't have known. So keep that in mind too. If like you feel like you're being ignored, go back and comment on something and say like, "Oh, there might be a message floating around in your request. Looking forward to hearing back." So that's helped me a little bit too this month.
Yeah, always, if you DM someone who you think won't see it right away, always comment on the photo and be like, hey, I sent you a DM. Not sure if you see it, but I sent you a DM. I feel like that will be your response will be quicker because they'll see that before they'll see the DM.
Well, I don't have anything else. Carolyn, or does anyone want to talk about anything else? Oh, you're muted. Oh.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, well, Nicole, thanks for doing this call with us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I know it's like the middle of your day in California, so I appreciate not booking any shoots or anything like that. And then if I think of anything else within the next like couple of weeks, any tips or anything, or if you think of anything, let us know and I'll share it with everyone in the team page.
Okay, and if anyone has like direct questions, they can always message me.
Okay, do you guys want to take a photo?
Sure.
Document this for myself, Nicole.
What?
I'm gonna take a photo. Wait, my phone's
okay. Are you gonna tell us when?
Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're good. Okay.
All right. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge with us tonight.
My pleasure. It's just from experience. So if I can help anyone to not waste as much time as I did, then it's my pleasure.
Cool. Well, have fun at your movie, and thanks again. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to leave this, so give me a second.